Welcome to Violin Adventures number 225. We continue our work on the 1800s violin. This is going to be a much warmer week, and so I'm back to work on the cello. And here on the cello, I did some spraying this morning, spraying this area. It's looking pretty good, and I'm going to let this dry for a whole day, and then tomorrow I hope to rub it down and we'll see how it's looking. And this is with a sealer coat with a spirit varnish, and then maybe at the very end we can do a oil varnish over the whole top. Okay, our cello is ready to be put back together. I'm going to get the top back on, put our label inside, and then we'll do maybe one oil coat over the whole thing. Okay, we've got our label here. I just want to show you up close here how this is a fake label right here. That is just not aged with the wood. It's just not right. And you see how tiny it is compared to my label. And a real maker will put in a good label. This is just rubbish. You can buy these labels and stick them in instruments, and it's just not right. Okay, we're going to close it up. And this might be a little bit difficult to get it just right, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to forget the camera's on and just plow into this. I've been shaping the lower saddle here to put in a new one, and we fit it, and now we've got to finish shaping it. So I'm going to do that while this beautiful cello is drying, and it's been drying for a few hours. The professor comes by. A new repair comes in the mail. All right, we have a package here with a violin in it, coming from New York. So let's open it up and see what it needs. Okay, neck is not connected. We got strings here and all the accessories. That's nice. Okay, there it is. That's a nice, looks like a good old German. There it is. So we're going to reset the neck. The sound post that's in here is too tall, so it's bringing this, the wing of the F hole is sticking up. So I'm going to see if we can, anyway, we'll see about that. There's a lot of old cracks in here, so we're going to have to check them out. And this one wasn't put together properly. Anyway, we've got a nice old violin here. It definitely looks German, kind of in the style of Steiner. Time for a story. Okay, we're taking up our reading in Violins and Violinists by Franz Farga. We're starting chapter 16, The French Trio. France justly regards her three famous violinists, Kreutzer, Rodolphe, and Veillot, as representatives of all that is best in violin art. For several decades, they brought France the leadership in this field, and their influence is still noticeable. Without Viotti's preparatory work, however, this level could never have been reached. So now we're going on to hear about Kreutzer. Kreutzer was born in 1776. He betrayed at the earliest age such interest in the violin that his father began to train him. Finally, Kreutzer was taught by Viotti, who had such a high opinion of the young man that he made him a soloist in his Theatre Italien. Kreutzer, who had previously been a member of the Royal Private Band, was appointed violin professor at the Paris Conservatory after Viotti had left the town. Subsequently, he became concertmaster at the Grand Opera. One day, he had to take over the baton from the conductor and conducted with such ability that Napoleon made him the assistant to the first opera conductor. From that time, Kreutzer played an important part in the musical life of Paris. As a composer, he was most versatile and gifted. He wrote about 40 operas, which are all produced and were all more or less successful, apart from a great mass of chamber music and 19 violin concertos. His 42 etudes, however, are recognized today as his most important contribution to violin music. As a violinist, Kreutzer was, according to the unanimous opinion of his contemporaries, an artist in whom warmth of feeling and liveliness were mixed in happy harmony. He was considered up to Viotti's standard and almost equaled him in the sweetness of his cantilene and the broad full tone of his allegro. Almost. For Viotti was his superior in the mastery of the bow. Unfortunately, Kreutzer's bowing was somewhat monotonous. He was less elegant in style than his great rival, Pierre Rodet, obeying instinct only, which gave his playing great impetuosity and fervor. One of his concert tours, Kreutzer visited Vienna, where he made friends with Beethoven. His playing must have made a great impression on the composer, as he dedicated his sonata, Opus 47, to him, and it became known as the Kreutzer Sonata. It is interesting to note that Beethoven had originally written this work for the mulatto Bridge Tower, whose training was sponsored by the Prince of Wales and who went to Vienna in 1802. There he created a sensation in aristocratic circles, not only because of the personality of his patron, but also because of his ardent and intuitive style of playing. Beethoven wrote his beautiful A major sonata, Opus 30, for Bridge Tower, accompanying him on the piano at the first performance on May 24, 1802. Beethoven's friendship with Bridgewater is said to have abated somewhat, and for this reason Kreutzer had the luck to have the most passionate of Beethoven's violin sonatas dedicated to him. Unfortunately, Kreutzer did not prize this honor sufficiently high, as will be seen later on. In 1810, he broke his left arm so that he could not appear as a soloist any longer, and his activities were limited to teaching, conducting, and composing. In 1826, whilst acting as conductor of the Paris Grand Opera, he was pensioned off. He had just completed his last opera, Matilda, intending as a farewell offering to the Paris public. The management, however, refused it, which caused Kreutzer to become so excited that he had a stroke. After his recovery, he left ungrateful France and went to Geneva, where he was buried. A tablet on the wall of a house in the promenade reminds passers-by that Kreutzer died there on January 6, 1831. In the house next door, Geneva's great poet lived and died, and the house in the street was, in 1835 to 36, the refuge of Franz Liszt. Kreutzer's operas are now completely forgotten. His violin concertos are almost forgotten, but his 42 etudes, his name will live forever. No violinist can afford to omit learning this magnificent work. Okay, that's kind of the end of Kreutzer, and the next one we'll be reading about is Pierre Rodet. The Hebrew Minute. Anoki Hashem Elohecha Hama'alcha Ma'eretz Mitzrayim Harhev Picha V'amal Ehu. I am Hashem, or the Lord your God, the one who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. Open wide or enlarge your mouth, and I will fill it. If you know where this is found, please leave it in the comments below. It's Friday afternoon, a beautiful day, but windy. Let's go inside. Here in the shop we have 3 projects we're working on. This is the cello with a nice coat of varnish on it, and it's just starting to dry. Here's the new violin. We haven't done any work on it yet this week. And here is a beautiful old German instrument that needs some help. We'll hope to start on this next week. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your wonderful comments. Thank you for your thumbs up, and thank you to the new subscribers. And until next time, bye.